So the New York Times drops this major bomb on us over the weekend, and it's about Trump's tax information. And I think what I took away from it a lot was that rich people just always avoid paying taxes. You can never meet a rich person and they're going to tell you that they pay all of their taxes. It's impossible. I would laugh their asses out of the room if they said that. But aside from that, there's a part of the New York Times article, and I will post this in the description. I'll post the whole article. I'm gonna do a couple videos on it, on it, so that you can check it. You can check it out. But there's a part of the New York Times piece that really kind of caught my eye, and it was that Donald Trump, of course, did everything to avoid paying taxes. Now, of course, the media will say, "Oh my God, he didn't pay most taxes like everybody else." It's true, and we'll get to that in another video. But what really caught my eye was one of the ways he did it. One of the ways he evaded paying taxes here in the United States. So, in the New York Times article, it talks about how Donald Trump had many projects in Vancouver, Hawaii, Dubai, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Scotland, Ireland. I mean, you look at all of it, right? And so he has all those projects. And so Trump wanted to avoid paying more taxes. Essentially what he does is sets up a consultation company with Ivanka Trump. And we're going to get to her. And across nearly all of his projects, he basically pays a consultant to help with all of those projects. Now, essentially what he did was he funneled money to Ivanka Trump, right? And so the biggest problem first is in his tax records and in the business records, the consultant is not identified, which is very strange. It's very suspicious why Trump would pay a consultant millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and not identify them, right? And so essentially what happens is Ivanka Trump decides, I'm not going to get into the White House yet. Then she goes in 2017, joins the White House staff and submits a financial disclosure form. And in that financial disclosure form, she says that she has made, get this, okay, $747 million. So $747,622,000. I mean, now, I heard reports that it was $747,622. I don't know about that, but let's just go. So, in her financial disclosure, she discloses, hey, I got paid by the Trump Organization as a consultant. In the Trump Organization's tax records and in Trump's own tax records, she's not listed as that person who took money from the Trump Organization or Donald Trump himself. Essentially what's going on here is Trump's doing a double whammy here. Two things. Number one, set up the company. That company does not have to pay taxes because it's a corporation and therefore they can evade as many taxes as they want. Ivanka Trump gets that money, right? Donald Trump is basically using this as a way so he can write off the consulting fees as a deduction. I had to pay $10 million here, $20 million. Okay, well, so I'm going to write all that off on my taxes. Now he doesn't have to pay any of those taxes. It's a double whammy, double win for him. There's a problem for Ivanka, though. So Ivanka was a salaried employee at about $400,000 to $500,000 a year at the Trump Organization. And essentially what happened is she was in charge of marketing, sales, the cost benefits, the design, the building, all of that of Trump properties, whether it was Bedminster, whether it was the golf course in Scotland or Ireland or Vancouver, Hawaii, Washington, Vegas, no matter where, she was in charge of all of those projects, right? Essentially what happened is not only was she that person who managed the entire deal, right, for every single project. But she was also the paid consultant of that of each and every single one of those projects. So essentially, the IRS is saying, under their rules and regulations, according to the New York Times, that that person who gets that consulting fee has to pay an income tax. Now, if I was Ivanka Trump, I would possibly build another company and just do that over and over again, or do whatever rich people do, or whatever the system allows, to not pay those taxes. So essentially, this is a pretty disgusting thing that Donald Trump is doing, is that, he's paying his daughter consulting fees. Now, all that just to avoid taxes, all of that, okay? Now, in Azerbaijan, right, I think it was in Turkey, a person familiar with the project, very close to the project, said, I don't remember there being a person who was consulting us on the project. So essentially, they weren't even doing any consulting. Essentially, what they were doing is, again, using a fake company that wasn't even doing what it set out to do, and then they were paying that company that money, and then, writing it off on their taxes, and that company was then writing it off on its taxes, just so that they can avoid paying tax dollars. Now, if you're surprised by this, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's still kind of surprising that Trump did this. That this is possible, and that, all of that. But I wouldn't be surprised, because, I mean, can you imagine what Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Tim Cook are doing? All of those sons of guns are, offshoring their taxes. But what's interesting is, Trump paid more to the Philippines, to Turkey, to Saudi Arabia, all of those. He paid more overseas than he did here in the United States, because in a lot of those countries, they don't have a lot of these tax goodies and laws where fancy accountants can then help you avoid taxes. They don't really have a lot of those. So that is just one part of the New York Times story that really caught my eye, which is, wow, this guy really did everything he could to avoid paying taxes. And my last point here is, I want you to take a look at your wallet. Go into your bank account, and I want you to see if you have $747,622. And I just want you to or $747,622,000. I just want you to ask yourself, do I have any of that money? And then I want you to go to your fancy accountant and you say, okay, I've got $25 million. I need to get rid of all this money. I don't want to pay taxes. So I need you to help me get rid of this money, quote unquote. If you can't do that, and you're a Trump supporter, right? I don't see why you would vote for this guy. I don't know why anybody could say, you know what, this guy's here for the middle class. He's really helping the American people, because he's actually not. He actually has gotten into office. And I mean, when you have a tax bill where 83% of the wealth of the country is going to go to the top 1% that has avoided paying $800 billion in the last 3 years, they are responsible for 70% of lost tax revenue. I mean, come on. You really think that this guy's actually going to care about your bottom dollar? If you're a single mom, and I know one, I'm not going to say her name, I think you know who you're talking about. If you're a single mom, you've got a child, a baby boy or a baby girl, and you are struggling to make ends meet, you can't just buy a house on a whim. You have to pre-qualify and got to have enough of a FICO score, maybe someone to co-sign. If you are still supporting this president who avoided paying taxes for 10 of the last 15 years, who only paid $750 in taxes the year he won the presidency and the year he took office, I don't know what to say about you other than you don't have a brain. Because I would not vote for this guy if my life depended on it. Someone could hold a gun to my head and say, vote for Trump, and I'll say no, and they could shoot me dead. Because here's the thing, I hate to put it that way. I could never vote for someone who evaded taxes and avoided paying into the system that Republicans say Well, you have to, because you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, Trump didn't do that and instead avoided paying taxes just like all the other rich people. And that's why he's not here for the middle class.